Hey, Dark Sniper here. So I've gotten a chance to take a look at your map, and I thought it might be simpler just to send a video with a little bit of narration rather than trying to type everything out. Well, your first question was how can you zone off your map areas? And after looking at your map, I don't think you can. One issue is everything, all these little areas here where you would want to put a zone portal are a little complex, and I think it would probably end up causing you more issues than actually offering solutions. All these little pipes on the side of the wall here, and these pipe holders and pipes on the ceiling, because in all honesty, this is maybe one section I would put a portal, then this area, and really, it's quite large, maybe larger than I would actually want to put a portal. So if I take this area out, that area out for candidacy for portals, then all that leaves is this section. This would be an optimal portal door, and these not so optimal, but you could do it. But then you would have to also do this, and then all you'd have is this one room would be a zone, and I think that would actually be a little detrimental to what you're trying to do. Because as far as I understand it, this is how a zone portal works. A zone portal doesn't, if you have a zone portal right here in this little hallway, this doorway, what it's going to do is it's going to not draw anything in that zone that I cannot see. This wall right here, you notice, even though I can't see the edge of the brush, it's going to draw the entire brush because I see part of the brush. Same way with these and these. So, but the rest of the brushes I can't see, it would stop drawing. As I move forward, though, more and more of the room comes into play. So if I'm in an area like this and I try to put a zone portal across here, it's not going to work very well. So that's why I don't think you can put zone portals here. But with the size of the map, I don't think you need them. I don't think you need zone portals, at least for optimization purposes. Now, you probably want zone portals as it's a CTF map, so you could give the location string here. Yeah, see, so you got mid. This is the middle area, so flag carrier is here. So, well, there's another option you have. You can come up to your actor browser, and I think it's under key point. Yeah, under key point, location ID. If you right click and add a location ID, so with this location ID, you can come in and give it a name. We'll say this is mid, like you said. I'm gonna maybe make the radius 200. Now you see, I can see a radius here. That's the collision radius. And if you don't know, you can come up to your viewpoint bar and go to actor and radii view, and it shows that. So if I make that 200, then I can see, oh, there's the radius that my ID is going to interact with. Now, if you want to make these small and then just pepper the whole area, have a little bit more control over it, you can, or you can make it larger and just, have a few positioned throughout where you think your players are going to run. So that's in lieu of having the zone info, and you can just place your location IDs. What was the other question? Oh, your flags. The bot's not grabbing the flags. So again, we have the actor radius on, so we can see here, there's the collision radius. And with flags, you need to have them sunk into the ground somewhat, so that radius is close to the ground there. Then the bots will grab it. Now, I don't know if this is your first map or your 50th map. So I don't know if you just sent this like this, and you intend on pathing it and putting path nodes and making a network with pickups and all that. I don't know. What I do see here is right now you don't have a network, so the bots would never come and pick this up because there's nothing connecting it. So they can't get to the flag, either flag. Um, with your kickers here, I see that you've tried to use a lift exit and a lift center, and that's close. I mean, for each kicker, you need a lift exit, a lift center, and a lift exit. So one lift exit where you want them to come into your kicker, the lift center where the kicker is, and then a lift exit where the destination is. And you don't have that. You have the beginnings of it, but you don't have that. And also, you see all these lines connecting each other. If you don't know how to do that, you come up to bar again, and you go to view, show paths. This is the navigation network. Um, this green line represents that connection between two lift exits, just as if we had pickups like weapons or health, you would want green lines connected. And you also want those green lines then to connect to your flag eventually. That creates the network. But all these purple lines connecting to each other is incorrect. What needs to happen is you need to have a lift exit at the base where you want to go into your kicker, and a lift exit where you want them to end up. So we'll get rid of this one, and we'll get rid of that one. So here's our lift exit to go into the kicker. Here's our lift exit to come out of the kicker. And we need to put a tag on these. Let's just say kicker 1. And then we need to add a lift center and place that over that kicker where the kicker is. And we need to also change its tag to match kicker 1. And then if we rebuild the navigation, notice now that is a closed path. And also see how it's connecting to these others. So there's the beginning of the navigation network. And that has to happen with every kicker. Every kicker has to have its own system with its own unique tag name. Kicker 1, kicker 2, kicker 3, etc. So that has to happen that way. So speaking of kickers, the way you have this right here, if I placed the lift exit, lift center, lift exit, and then had a navigation network connecting to the flag, the bot's going to charge through here, use that kicker, grab the flag, come back, and try to come back the same way and die right about here because they can't jump all the way across. And they're going to do that every time. One, because bots like to do stupid things like that. And two, because there's no alternative route for them to take. They can't jump up here. And if they're carrying the flag, they can't X-lock up here. So that's the only option they have. Now we can build a lift exit, lift center, or lift exit jump spot, lift exit spot. This right here where we could tell them to use their impact hammer and jump up here. Or we could put some jump boots here and have them jump up here. And they might use that, but I tell you, just from experience, they're going to want to keep going back and forth here and dying over and over and over. So what I've done is I've made a sample map using your map. I've gone through and I've made some navigation and done a couple things to it just so you could see. By all means, don't take it as I'm telling you, oh, my way's better. I'm just going to give you the example just so you can look at it. And it's easier for me to look at things and figure out how it was done rather than somebody just telling me. So that's why I'm going to send it to you. Before I show you that, I just want to touch on a couple other things. Here, you have some really complex map architecture with your brushwork. And it's unnecessary. And after a while, it could cause some problems. And I think you do have some problems right now. One is right there. This spot, if you come in here, there's the red base. If you come in here and you jump up in here or you throw your X-Lock, you're going to die. Or if you're up here and you jump down, you're going to die because of this BSP error. And I can't remember which kicker it was, but there's a kicker where if you try to use it, you die because of a BSP error. See that? It may be this one that has the BSP error. So you, or it may be the other one. I don't recall, but you can find it. You can address those if you change some of the brushwork here. Like here's the bad brush, yeah. So let's select that. So you have this brush. Those are the columns holding the sign up. And this brush, that's the sign. I know why you have this is because you want them to not be able to run through this plane. Well, the first thing I would do is, I don't know if you're familiar with it, but down here is a special brush, and you can come here and what you have is a mask decoration. So you could have added this as a mask decoration, and you notice mask decoration says mask and non-solid. So it would make it a non-solid brush rather than a solid brush. So you could change that to non-solid. And then these, since they don't intersect, they don't sink into or connect to these columns, and they're not being subtracted from, we can change those then to a semi-solid. And if we rebuild just the geometry, we should see it pop back into view, because what we've done when we change it to a semi-solid is we've taken away some of the BSP cutting that's going on, and hopefully that will solve the issue. So yeah, see? So that BSP error should be gone now, and your sign still functions, and you shouldn't be able to run through it. If we look here, here's another place we could look at. If we go up to the zone portal view, see this, how these BSP cuts are here. Well, if we select these because they're not being subtracted into, they're not sinking into other architecture, they're just decoration, then we can take these and change them to semi-solid also, and rebuild the geometry, and let's see what happens. Oh, so look, see, all those cuts went away. And you can do that with quite a bit in here. You can't do it with something like this because it sinks into other architecture. You could probably do it with this one. Yeah, it's close enough. So you can't do it with these pipes because they sink into the wall behind them. And you don't want to do it with something like this because of all that complex architecture, but because you have this pipe running all the way through it. So just think about, how you're building it, and that should help. So I think I covered everything. Oh, your lighting's good. It's just you don't need everything to be unlit. Let's rebuild everything just so, or not unlit. You've got everything being special lit. All your lights don't need to be special lit lights, and all your surfaces don't need to be flagged special lit. by all means, you can have some special lighting just to show certain things, highlight something. But for the most part, you want regular lighting just for optimization purposes. Um, and I apologize if this video is going long. I just felt like it'd be simpler to talk it out rather than write it out. If you have any questions or comments or concerns, after watching it, by all means, get back in touch with me. I'll help you however I can. All right, so you notice this area is dark, that area is dark, and that area is dark. And the reason for that is they're special lit, but there's no lighting falling onto it. So you can go through and you think, wow, what's going on? What's going on? Also, high shadow detail. You don't have to have that for everything. In fact, after a while, in the old days, it would have caused problems because it would just bog the systems down. Um, Nowadays, it probably doesn't matter that much. And I noticed here too, you have a couple of texture things like that right there, um, this right here. You know, we all miss them. We all have to go through and finalize, like right here. Whereas over here you had that, and that looks nice. But anyway, those are just little things here. This is something that a lot of people notice but don't notice. See how your texture alignment's kind of crazy here. You can fix that. You can go through and just align that now with the new updates they've had. It's a much simpler way to do it. Same way with this. And that just looks cleaner. In fact, my habit would be to take something like that and apply it just so oh, there's a stair there. And also for optimization's sake, see how that does? Well, now that I've aligned these textures, if I right click on the brush itself and merge polygons, if I rebuild the geometry, my computer's running a little slow. Now that's one face. Much easier to align the textures. And it's a little bit easier on the computer itself, rather than all those polygons. So anyway, before I go quit the video, let me show you what I've done. I'll send you this file. So here's the one I messed with. So you can see the navigation network throughout, all the green lines telling the bots where to go. Now what I've done here is added a little bridge and put the kicker up here so they could come through and jump over, but then they could come back without dying. Again, that's just my solution. You might have a better one. Over here, I've added a network for them to try to jump up here if they're so inclined. Bots do what they want anyway, and they play it. I mean, they'll run around and grab everything. Here's where I simplified some architecture. One brush, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that's all it is. Very clean, no unnecessary zones. So I hope that helps. And again, if you have any questions, any comments, let me know. Thanks.